Hello and welcome back to Daily Sim Racing. We've been taking the Porsche 919 Hybrid and the Ferrari F2004 around the Circuit de la Sarthe and Monza. However, today, though it may not be always reoccurring, I've added in a Corvette GT3 around the Daytona road circuit. So let's get started with the Porsche lap here. So as we cross the start line, we head down. We're just up on our Ghost using a bit of the hybrid. So we come through, brake a little earlier, lock up the rear, but come through into the Dunlop curve, I believe. Take the left-hander here that is not great. It's kind of a middle point for this car. It could be either third or fourth, depending on the grip you have coming out. So, coming down the Mulsanne straight, we are behind the Ghost, and that's going to be common through both this and the and the Ferrari video rather, because I didn't manage to beat either of my times today. However, I'm getting a lot more consistent in areas, and that's actually starting to look really good. So as we're coming down into the first of the Ford chicanes, I get a relatively decent run through here. Use the hybrid on the exit. I think the 919 hybrid was very limited by its hybrid ability around this circuit, just because of the fact that you can use a lot of hybrid around here. And that's one of the things they addressed in the 919 Evo that they made as a tribute. But braking a little later than I have been before into the second chicane, coming over using the whole track. We're still behind the Ghost, and that's really not going to change very much. Using a tiny bit of hybrid to get up to speed coming down here, and then we're going to be looking into the right-hander coming up, where we're going to brake just before the curb starts. And it actually sends us perfectly into the corner. If I had been up on the Ghost, I would have gained a ton of time there. But as we're accelerating, we can still see the Ghost in front of us, and that's kind of what the goal is. Keep him within 2-3 tenths maximum. See if I can get a lot closer to a consistent lap time. So we're coming down. We don't brake till after the curb now, using all of the downforce available in this car. Then into the right-hander, brake at the curb start. Good run through the corner again. But down through here, we're gonna see that the Ghost pulls away a little bit. He had more hybrid, or rather I had more hybrid at that point than I did in this lap. So using 5th and 6th actually through this whole these complex. But we're seeing a lot of improvements in speed coming through here without going over the edge. So as we're coming down to complete the lap, we're going to not have a great run through the chicanes, unfortunately. We go a little wide in the second one. Had that little bit of spin that I wasn't able to catch quite well enough. But over the curb and across the line. So let's get started with the Ferrari, where we just came across the line and we're heading down. We're actually in front of the Ghost right now. But as we hit about 150, I tapped the brakes, and then at 100, I actually hit them. Go over the banana curb there a bit, and that's where the Ghost gets in front. I lose a lot of time through that first chicane a lot of the times, and if I can't get a perfect run through there, it's a pretty rough lap afterwards trying to catch up. But lock up both rear tires in there, onto the curbs, then into the Lismos, which is where I still can gain a lot of time. I didn't have a great run through that first one, almost spun out on exit, and then really didn't have a perfect run on the second one, but it was much better than the first. So as we're coming down in under the bridge, we're gonna get ready to brake at the 100 marker, go over the curbs. I didn't brake enough and kind of slid in a bit, but take that bump and then head down the back straight into Parabolica, where we'll take that final right-hander, but I didn't get a great run through it. I'm braking about 75 meters. Just the spec I'm running didn't have really enough downforce to quite get me through, but then we're across the line. So on to the Corvette here, which is something new for me. This lap didn't really start as a flying lap, but then I realized that I was basically caught up to my Ghost already, and I was still downshifting. So I figured that I'd do one more flying lap after getting a little bit more of the feel for the circuit. So we're coming in to this first hairpin. Slide a little bit too much actually, but then accelerate down the straight into the left-hander. We don't really need to brake, but we do need to lift, do a little bit of trail braking, and then brake hard into the second hairpin, which I don't get, or I actually drifted through a little bit, unfortunately, which will destroy the tires in a real race, but since we're running no tire wear, that wasn't as much of an issue. But over the curb here, instead of going deep like I did on the previous lap, we come up onto the banking, and we just kind of foot to the floor, and let's go. This car probably won't be an everyday occurrence, just because it does add extra time to my recording, and I do have limited amounts of time. We're going to get ready for this left-right chicane. It's a very long one, but brake around 250, 300 meters, run through there, run over the corner there, and back up onto the banking. But I do want to make this car show up just a little bit every couple days or so, a new lap, see how fast I can go, just because it is fun to drive cars with less downforce as well. I'm very used to driving high downforce cars like F1 cars and LMP1 cars. But we come across the line here and set my new best. But thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like and subscribe and leave a comment down below. See ya.